Good day, guys. I hope you're good. Welcome to our Thursday synthetic indices analysis. So I just wanted to start with B1, where I have one buy trade at current market price. I just opened it now, and I'll just explain the setup I'm seeing and what I think could possibly happen. So looking at the daily charts again, I'm still looking forward for price to come take out this liquidity at the top here, right? So I have a buying bias. So where could price potentially buy from? Yesterday, we're expecting a buy. We did get a buy, which I explained just now, but you can see how the daily candle closed. So today we can potentially get that momentum pushing us up to the upside. That's what I'm anticipating. But at the same time, price can still retrace into this area before it actually pushes up. So that's what we should just be in mind. So dropping down the time frame is going to H4. I don't have anything much here. I'm just looking at the price action here. The best setup could form after this current H4 candle closes. So that will be at 2 p.m. SA time or in 2 hours from now. That's when we'll get the best setup. So we still want to see how this current candle closes, whether they want to come down and retest this area like we said, or they actually want to push up now so that we can scale in on the buys and hopefully look for a continuation to the upside. So that's my current view for now. So again, my stop loss on this current runner is tight. Looking at it from yesterday's setup, we had this zone here which played out, but if you notice, they didn't close above this safe entry buy where we wanted to scale in. If you watched yesterday's session, or if you were in yesterday's session, you will see the zone. So they gave a short buy here. They came back again here. This is when I saw it and I sent that message in the group. I'm not sure if somebody took it, but it didn't play again to this level. It actually then extended this low. Then the pattern restarted here. So this was early hours. So currently, price is now rejecting off this order block here. This order block right here. So I looked at this first rejection, second rejection. So I still want to see how they play here. My stop loss is just below the last F15 candle. That's where my stop loss is. So after that, we'll also see if price can respect this area. It's also a point of interest. That's if they continue to push down. The next point of interest would be this whole zone here. Okay, then after that, the next point of interest would possibly be yesterday's lows. But by then, we would have seen that this price is actually in a bearish trend. So we'll still wait for them to create maybe a new low before we start looking for a pattern. So if they respect this zone right now, if they spike here, we're looking for price to come at least to yesterday's highs. That's the target. So if this zone is respected, we're expecting something like this. So again, a safe entry or a scaling area would be at the close above this zone here. This is M15. So if you get it close above here, I would look to scale in. So if price does this, I'll be looking to scale in around this area here. But if they break here, the runner hits a stop loss, then we wait for price to form another pattern here, which I will advise in the Telegram group if it happens like that. If they break, we'll still be stalking it to see if they respect yesterday's lows. So that's my view on B1. C3, I'm not sure if people caught C3 yesterday. I remember when we had our Zoom, price was somewhere here. So I remember I marked this and I said I wanted to see price break, then come back into this order block here and maybe into this zone here. So what happened is they didn't break. but they respected this area 2 times. Then they dropped, eventually dropped to break structure here. Then they retraced, took out liquidity above here. So all these areas where you see red arrows, that's where we could actually have entered it. So I didn't follow it that much since we had a good trade on C5, so I didn't really follow C3, but those who took it, you can also see price was respecting the 50 moving average. So we're in a downtrend. TDI was respecting the 50 static until they gave us a baseline bounce here, a baseline bounce here. So those were all entries where we could actually have gone into the trade. Then today, what I noticed is price is continuing down. So they already gave a setup earlier, and I marked this zone for a potential retest. So it's still valid for a potential retest and a continuation to the downside. So if price is to come and take out this high here. This is on M15. They have to come take out this high and potentially retest our broken order block and retest the 50 EMA as well. So if we get a nameable candle, we're going to sell one position. Then if we have an order block in here, we're going to wait for price to break, possibly a retest, and then we scale in and wait to see if they play to the downside. They will also have to give us a TDI confirmation on the 50 baseline here. If they don't give us this confirmation, it means this setup would be invalid, so there won't be any sell. Maybe price will be coming all the way up to this area here, which will be the next point of interest. So if it breaks this area, then I'll advise on the Telegram group what I'll be saying. So again, remember there's liquidity just above this area, so price can still come up here, then create a new pattern, then sell. So that's what we're looking for on C3. C5, C5. Let me start with it from the daily. So we had a nice rejection of the 50 EMA. That's where we got our trade yesterday. The first move took us out yesterday, then we managed to catch it again. Let's see. Okay, so you can see this was the trade yesterday. Our first sales, I think they were here, and I was anticipating a break and a retest, right? So price came back up, took us out. Then I noticed this. So here's a trick. If you're trading whatever you trade, be it currencies or whatever you trade, as long as there's candlesticks, if you see price creating the first leg, then on the second leg they have like a doji candle. Soon as you see that doji candle on the second leg, just know that trade has got a high probability of playing out. So as soon as I saw that doji, I came back to the group, advised let's sell. So we sold. Price almost retraced to take us out because the stop loss was just above the high. Then they pushed, came back to retrace into this order block. Then we had a nice sell. I think we took profit somewhere here. We're actually targeting only 30 pips here, 30 to 50 pips. And it played out, continued to get to this area. So today I feel like we could sell. Those chances are there of us selling, but let me just see on the daily. So we have that rejection there. I don't think price, okay, they might come and take out yesterday's high, but if they come around yesterday's high, expect a sell setup there, because the daily candle might close being another rejection as well. This is just anticipation based on what I've seen before. So H4. Okay, so on H4, what we notice is we've got a peak. So now we've got a zone. Okay, I see a zone on H4. So we've got the highest point, which is yesterday's highs. Then we've got the highest point on the candlestick bodies, which is this point. So that's also a point of interest for sales on H4. So now we have a zone. If price comes into this zone and gives us another nameable candle, we can execute a sell. and target these lows here and potentially these lows. I was still anticipating price to come as low as this area actually, so that will also be a take profit target right there. So potential retracement up. Let's see what we have on H1. So on H1, I had this supply zone here. So I want to see if they respect it or they just want to come slightly above, then sell. That's a possible play. So C5, we have to keep stoking it because a setup can form at any point from now. Again, price can still come into yesterday's broken order block from the H1 time frame, which is around 36.15. Okay, so if price comes, so remember also we've got a peak from a higher time frame and we've got an order block. So it was broken and there was no retest into this order block here. It's still fresh. So price can still come into this order block, then actually sell from there, or they can come into this zone, which is a higher time frame zone as well. So we're just keeping an eye on all those points of interest. At the same time, if we just come below this area now, I'll be looking for sales here. That's how I'm looking at C5 at the moment. M30, M30 more or less the same thing. There's liquidity lying above these areas here. So this area is a what do you call it? Is a high probability area, around 34.15. If price comes there, we should keep stoking it. Even if it continues to push up, we should keep stoking it because at some point they're going to give a good sell setup. But if they don't come all the way up here and they decide to start coming down now, we're saying if they break around 33, if they're breaking close below 33.65, then I'll be looking to sell. If we break and close below 33.65 here, I'll be looking for a sell and looking forward for price to get to the 800 EMA. So even when we're selling from this area, we're still looking forward for price to come to 33.10 as a take profit. So this can actually be a good trade today. So we should keep stoking C500. C1000, I remember we sold it yesterday. We sold it here. And I'm not sure if I took profit or price came to take me out. Then they continued to extend the high of the day. This was the high of the day here. So they extended it here. Then they came and broke structure, then retested. So we could have entered it here if we were stalking it for a sell, and possibly we could have been targeting here, but again, they didn't get there. They just bounced off the previous day's lows. So I would say we are in an uptrend, but at some point we're going to get an intraday reversal for the day. So we still have to keep stoking it for sales. If you notice, I marked a zone earlier. This is from the daily chart. So first we need to agree that we are pushing up. We are in an uptrend here. So there is a chance we can still take out these highs here. But as soon as we take them out, we'll look for retracement sells. We sell the retracements into this up move. Then we'll possibly get a sell around this area. This is the daily chart. These are daily zones. So for now, I would say that's how I'm looking at it. We're still bullish. If we are selling, remember the sales are short term. I'm also anticipating a reaction around this area here. So soon as we break these highs, we might get a reaction here, maybe a retracement, then a continuation into this area. Then maybe we'll get a reversal going into next week. But we'll just see how that plays out. So for now, it's bullish. We just keep stoking to see if we can catch a quick short-term sell. So for now, C1 is bullish. B5. B5 yesterday when we had the Zoom, I'm not sure where price was exactly. but I think I remember mentioning this zone. I'm not quite sure if you were in yesterday's session, but price came to this zone and rejected it and continued pushing up. So this was the setup. Then they respected that high again with a nice W, but this was like around 2 a.m. With TDI giving nice confirmations here on both setups. So today we are in a sell motion. I'm not sure how low this sells will go, but for now we are in a sell. I don't see any buys yet. This is M30 daily. Looks like we could be rejecting, so we could come all the way to the 13 EMA. So B5, I'm not really interested in it today, unless they show me something solid. For example, let's say right here, you see they're on the 200 EMA. So if they respect the 200 EMA, then come back and break above here and give a retracement, I'll be looking to take this buy going back to this high here. So this would be my point of interest. I still want them to take this out and retrace, give me a nameable candle, then I can take a buy. That's if this zone holds. If they break here and start going down, this here is invalid. Okay, so that's my view on B5. B1, that runner, let me see if I can actually close it because it's reached my stop loss area. Let's see, this is H1. So I usually like to go through all the time frames which are available to me just to see how the candles are closing. So there's a high chance this price is coming all the way down to this, excuse me, to this order block here around 13,980. 13,980, which is right on the moving average. So that's the point of interest for a buy limit right here, 13,980. That's where I would say maybe we can get a potential buy. Like we explained it at the beginning of the video, that's what we'll be looking for. So the current runner, we can close it. I think I'll just manage that trade on my phone. Let's see. So again, the reason for us to have that runner is to get your emotions involved in the trade. So once you get your emotions involved, sometimes you start to see price different. And the runner also allows you to manage your loss. So instead of having multiple positions here and saying this trade will buy, we still need just one trade to manage our risk, then see if they actually want to buy. Then if they are buying, then we add. So that sort of helps in terms of risk management. So the loss is almost on 20 pips. So if you notice there, that trade should be closing now. So it's closed. So wait for them here and see if they can give us something. So that's it for B1. J10, I'm not sure. I hope you guys sold it yesterday because we spoke about J10, although I was not actively trading it. I remember we looked at it the time we had the Zoom. I think price was somewhere here, and we're looking at it, looking for a possible sell, which was a retracement to the up move, which has been happening for the past couple of days. Remember, we spoke about that retracement. So what happened is price actually still came into the zone. You can see here, right? So if you're using this as your peak, let's say you're looking for a safe entry, you use that as a peak, then you just look for the last zone and wait for it to be broken. You're waiting for a close below the zone and a possible retest. So here you can see they didn't close, they actually rejected, came back above, but they never came above the zone. Then they gave the close here and the retest straight after, and it was a clean sell. So those who were following J10, I hope you caught that trade. And if you notice, I actually looked at it and I was like, if I'm participating in this trade, I want to enter a safe sell here. So I noticed they had respected my zone, yes, but I wanted to be sure. So I waited for them to break and close below, which is what they did, and they melted. So today, what could happen is, since we've got that slight retracement, price can potentially continue pushing up. That's possible. Because if you notice the daily here, we do have a rejection. Yes, we've taken out liquidity on the left hand side right here. So these 2 days took out that liquidity. So I was still anticipating price to come down here though, but that will depend a lot on how price is moving today. So if we break today's open price, we can sell J10. That will be the safest sell on J10. So today's open price is around, so on this candle here, so I'll just put it as a zone. So if price comes back below the zone, that's a safe sell. Safe sell, and we look maybe to take profit somewhere here or anywhere in this gray zone, but it should be a good trade. Then where could they potentially sell from? Let's say they still want to sell. You can see we have nice order blocks here where this price or where this level was broken. So this makes this, for me, a supply zone. So I would look for sells in that area. This is H1. That will be a zone for me to look for sells. So before I sell though, I want to see a nameable candle rejecting that zone. Then I want to drop down to the smaller time frame and look for a pattern. A simple pattern is prices coming up, just wait for them to break a level and retest it. That right there is a pattern, then you can actually sell. So each time I say pattern, we need to sell, this is what I'm looking for. Each time we say pattern, when it's a buy, this is what we're looking for. So price will be creating lower lows coming down. Then they break a structure, then come to retest something. So this is where we look for the buy. So each time I mention pattern, that's what I'll be referring to. So if price comes and creates a pattern in our zone, we're going to take a sell from there. If they decide to drop now and close below the zone, we're going to take a sell from there. So that's my okay, that's my jump 10 view. I'm not sure if I'll execute trades on it, but that's my view. Then V250S, they've been playing around the zone where we bought from. So we had nice buys here. They pushed up. They came back to the entry zone. Then they pushed up. So now they're slightly returning. We could get a push up. Let's see if we can confirm the buys here. So looking at the daily, I would say yes, we still can go all the way up to the 50 EMA or the zone here. So I would say buys are still valid. Buys will only become invalid if we break below the zone. These last two zones on H4. If we break below these zones and close below, then my buy bias going up here will be invalid. Short term, the target is to just take out these highs here, the short term trade. So from here, you can scale out if you're already on the buys, which we took. So let's see if there's any potential buy area on the bottom here. The only one I see is this one. So is this up move happened from the morning, price left this order block or this zone? So for me, that's a demand zone, and I feel like price can come into that area before we get more buys. So if price can retrace all the way to this H1 zone, right, which is also on the 200 EMA, and we get a rejection here and a pattern from a smaller time frame, we're going to look for a buy on that area. That's my only view which I have for V2501S. And if we buy the target will just be today's highs. That alone will be a perfect setup. But if you want to hold, then we'll look for a possible flip zone continuation to the upside. Sell setup, I don't have anything for now. So I think that's it for today. Let's see. I don't know if there's any questions. Okay, B5 looks like it's respecting that area there, but at the same time, they can come to this moving average here. So from current price to the EMA, there's 17 pips. If you feel like you can hold a loss of 17 pips, you can buy B B500 market price. So it's just a runner, it's just one position, one small position here. That trade is just based on this rejection which I'm getting right here, right on the 200 EMA. It will become a safe buy after we come and close above and possibly retest. That's when we are going to scale in. If we don't get this move, this runner will come and hit stop loss just below here. It's more or less like the B1 trade. So we have a pattern which we think has potential to play. So we open one runner, stop loss below today's lows. And the worst case scenario for this particular trade right here would be price coming to the 800 EMA on the 5-minute time frame right here. So let me just see if it's lining up with this gap. If you look to the far left, there was a gap yesterday. I don't know if anybody caught this gap as well yesterday. So where that gap ends, if you put a line, that's where price can actually come and bounce off before we get a very good buy setup. So 4,900 is a buy limit zone. 4,900 is a buy limit zone. High probability buy limit zone. Then the stop loss would have to go just below this level, which is 48.87. So that's a 13 pip stop loss. 48.87 will be the stop loss. Then the target will be yesterday's highs, or somewhere around 49. We could say 5,000 because price can come to today's highs. So anyway between 49.90 and 5,000, that will be a possible TP if the setup we're seeing here is forming now. If it holds, if this level holds, then that's the best setup. So right now we have a runner just in case the price decides to do this. But at the same time, we still know they can come here. So we have a buy limit. And we'll definitely get another pattern right there so we can scale in even before price gets to this high. When they break this again, we still add more positions. Then we let this price push up. If we can get a minimum of 50 pips, that will be perfect. But this trade can pay out a potential of 100 pips if it plays out. So that's my current view for B5. C1 still pushing up. C500 will keep stoking on it. C3 will keep stoking on it. So for now, I think our eyes are just on B500 to see if this setup wants to play out. So if you look to the left, also we've taken out liquidity below here. So usually after liquidity gets taken out, price likes to retrace, even if they are going down. This will be a retracement and they'll continue pushing down. So we hope to catch the retracement if it's a retracement, and we hope to catch the push up if it's a intraday push up. So that's it from me, guys. I don't know if there's any questions. If there's no questions, I'll keep updating in the Telegram group if I've got any changes or if I'm seeing something else. So I think that's it from today. Is there any questions? Questions. I'm just going to drop a bonus. Let's quickly look at let's quickly look at, let me see if I've got the time for it first. Okay, let me just See if I can open. I want to look at EU, Euro USD. So on currencies, I've been wanting to buy this. Been wanting to buy this. Okay, let's see if there's a question. Okay, so thank you. All right, you're welcome, bro. You're welcome. So we've got Euro News at 15:15 SA time. Soon after New York session opens, we've got Euro News. So I'm looking forward for buys during that news. So I still want to see today's highs get broken for me to commit into that buy. I still want to see something like this. Price can still do like a stop hunt, maybe. Come back and bounce around this area again, then still push up. So I would say I'm sort of leaning on buys on EU. Let's see, even the daily, if you notice the daily, right? There's something I wanted to mention. Okay, EU guys, I'm buying it. It will take me out if it was to take me out. The reason I'm buying is this. I'm just going to keep this simple. You remember NFP week? If you remember the last NFP we had, right? Was it on the 5th of January? If I'm not mistaken, we had NFP. So this candle here was the NFP candle. It spiked both sides. So the high of that candle and the low of that candle looks like this. Looks like this, right? So I remember waiting for EU saying I won't trade until I see them come outside. So they came outside here, they came outside here, and they came back inside. And this looks like it's a stop hunt which has been done, and they've tapped into this area here, right? We have to agree on that. We also have a trend line here. I'm not sure where this trend line is coming from, but let's see. Let's see where it's coming from. It's sort of like a channel, as you can see here. So this is my daily chart view, right? So I also have something in my notes saying if price is in a range, if price is trading in a range and it comes out on one side, then comes back into the range, there is a 80% chance that it will come to the other side of the range. Okay, this is just based on notes which I went through. So looking at this, I was like, okay, it looks like this price has come outside the range, and they've respected something eventually, taken out liquidity here. So can't this price push up all the way up here? But at the same time, you will see I had a minor supply zone, which was actually tapped yesterday, and price sold after tapping into that supply zone. Then they came back and they are finding resistance on the bottom of that NFP day low. So this is just my simple reasoning for the buy. I'm not going to do any complicated analysis. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. We can discuss it on Telegram. What are you guys seeing on EU? So if you notice, again, inside the range, right, we have to agree that price is broken structures here. And this is the move which broke the structure. They came back and this is holding them. I also have a demand zone here. In case price decides to shoot here, I'm seeing they can still push up. But I already have a buy here and I'm anticipating a push up, especially with the Euro news. So what's going to happen is the new Euro news, it's either going to push price back down, maybe into this demand zone, and it's going to take me out here. But if I get a nameable candle here, I'm looking for a good long-term buy here. That's my first view. Then if they do come below my demand zone, then whatever I'm seeing here will be invalid. Okay. Again, if they come above today's highs, I'll be looking to scale it. Today's highs is right here, right where the price is. You see where I put the zone. So I'm saying if I get something like this, I need a push up, then New York session, and a continuation up. That's what I'm looking for on EU. So let's see if that plays out. If that plays out, that will be our trade of the week. I haven't taken any solid trade yet this week on currency. So I just wanted to add this quick analysis on EU as a bonus, and it's also up for discussion. So we can discuss it, guys, on Telegram. If there's no other questions, thank you guys for joining. We'll update the signals in the Telegram group. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.